the fact that others have lied about us doesn't mean we have to continue the lie. We don't treat disease. We don't cure disease. We don't get sick people well. The truth is, all we can do as chiropractors is bring about the correction of vertebral subluxation. And when subluxations are corrected, sometimes miracles occur. And if we haven't seen one yet, well, we'll lie about it a little bit, because a miracle could occur. This is how chiropractic got into trouble, by chiropractors either lying about it or allowing other people to lie about it, and we never tell the truth. We never inform people that the only thing we're doing is correcting vertebral subluxation. And that by correcting the subluxation, we restore mental impulses from the brain getting through to organs at the other end. That's the only thing you're doing with the subluxation. Bringing about the correction of the subluxation ends the damage. It doesn't cure the damage already there, but it ends the continuation of the damage. Fortunately, very often, when the subluxation is gone, the damage restores itself. Miracles occur. We consider them miracles because we don't understand the true miracle, life itself. Life cures disease. The human body is created with a built-in mechanism to heal itself. If we correct the one factor that's stopping the body from functioning perfectly, stopping the impulses from getting through, we correct that, very often the body will turn around and heal the problem. Now, we have to find a way of communicating that information from the chiropractor to the public. Not to the patient. You don't have patients. Patients, the word patient means one who suffers. People who have a vertebral subluxation don't necessarily suffer. Very often they don't even know they have a subluxation for 10, 20, 30 years. By the time the symptoms show up, they have a disease. And when the symptoms go away permanently, you've cured the disease. So you're in the business of treating and curing disease, as long as you treat symptoms. As long as your goal is to get sick people well. Your goal should be to bring about the correction of subluxation. That's the only thing a chiropractor is capable of doing as a chiropractor. As soon as he starts to cure disease, once you have the goal of curing disease, you make an implied promise to the public. You suggest that getting adjusted will allow their body to heal from the disease. What if they don't get well? What do they do? Say you're a liar in the first place? You implied that you could cure them. In fact, you can't cure them. The only thing you can do is the thing you're licensed to do, that is to bring about the correction of subluxation. That doesn't mean they'll necessarily get well. It means this. A subluxation always causes damage. You cannot have a vertebral subluxation without damaging something else in the body. Maybe they'll get sick. Maybe the body will function less efficiently. I think the thing we're seeking is a body that will function more efficiently. That's the purpose of chiropractic. That's our mission. Correct the vertebral subluxation, and the body will function more efficiently in healing, but in everything else too. Our mission should be to restore normal function. Now, what's normal? Well, it's different from person to person. You can't predict in advance what it will be, what it should be. Just if you get adjusted, your body will function more efficiently in everything it does. If you have a subluxation, you've prevented the impulses getting through from the brain to the rest of the body. The impulses are changed in some way on the way down. They're no longer the correct impulse for that split second. That's what a subluxation does. It sends the wrong messages or permits damaged messages to get through. When damaged messages get through, imperfect information is transmitted from the brain to the various body parts. Then the body can't work as well. Not just in healing. It can't do anything as well. The body is created in such a way that the thousands of parts integrate together to perform perfect function. If that perfect function is interfered with and it becomes imperfect function, we call that disease. Imperfect function is what you're fighting against. How about finding a way to explain that to the public so they don't go to the chiropractor too late? Somewhere along the way, the damage done by a subluxation becomes permanent. How long can you send down the wrong impulses or send down altered impulses before symptoms begin to show up? And how long does it take then for the damage to become permanent? How long does the heart have to work imperfectly because it gets imperfect information from the brain because of a subluxation? How long does that go on before the damage becomes permanent? You saw me staggering up the stairs a minute ago. Why do I stagger? Well, because damage has been done. Damage that the body apparently can't cure. I've been getting adjusted for 54 years. And some of the damage I had then, I still have. Much of it has accrued to the present state. So chiropractors can't cure it. Medical doctors can't cure it. It's permanent. Who said so? Time says so. I think we have to recognize our limitations and be honest about them to the public. When we talk to the public, explain chiropractic in such a way that they can understand it. Half the chiropractors explain chiropractic in a form of double talk that nobody can understand. What do we have to say to the public that is true and valid all the time, 100% of the time? Well, 100% of the time, if you have a vertebral subluxation, your body can't work right. And 100% of the situation, if you have a subluxation, you'll be better off without it. That's all you have to tell people. You have to convince them that subluxations are bad all the time. Some idiot recently wrote a magazine article in the name of chiropractic. Subluxation is sometimes good for you. Subluxation is not sometimes good for you. Subluxation is always bad for you. The body can't work right when it's subluxated. And your job is to bring about the correction of subluxation. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you use HIO or Gonstead or full spine or what technique. They all work. Different people use different methods because different people are built differently. Some are 6 feet tall and weigh 200 pounds. Others are 120-pound weaklings. And they still bring about the correction of subluxation. The thing is, do you have the intention of correcting subluxation, or do you have the intention of curing people? Because if your intention is to cure people, number one, you'll fail a lot of the time. Number two, the only people who will come to you are people who have diseases in the first place. If you're going to bring chiropractic to the world, as I've heard your intention is, if you want to bring chiropractic to the world, you must have the world come to your office, which means you have to say things clearly in an explainable way. You have to explain what your intention is. Explain, for example, that there's no point in going to a chiropractor 20 years after symptoms first occur. You have to go to a chiropractor to know if there's a subluxation in the first place. I think what you need to do is bring every child under chiropractic care, and you see them in your office as needed, so you can check the spine. The main job of a chiropractor is to check the spine. Check the spine for subluxation. You have to be able to identify subluxation. Not by symptoms. Not by how does that feel today. That's not your job. You have to be able to find a subluxation from checking the spine. If there is a subluxation, eventually malfunction will follow. But that malfunction may not be detectable immediately. That malfunction may manifest itself in many ways. But if the body's not working at 100%, that should be obvious to anybody. You're a specialist. You're able to locate and identify vertebral subluxation just from checking the spine. And you need to see the people regularly so you can check the spine. Is there now a subluxation there? I adjusted you last week or yesterday. Is the subluxation back again? Did I correct it? Do you do a post-check? After you've done the adjustment, do you check and make sure that the subluxation is gone? If not, what do you do? Listen to a pop? I can crack my knuckles without any improvement at all. Cracking your knuckles is not getting adjusted. Getting adjusted is to correct vertebral subluxation. If that's not your goal, then you're not a chiropractor. You're masquerading as a chiropractor while doing something else. Your job is to check spines regularly, not just the person who's sick. What about the spouse? I've been to chiropractic offices where one person comes in to get adjusted and the rest of the family doesn't go. How stupid can you be? To get one person adjusted, let's say mom gets adjusted regularly, and she doesn't bring the kids. I've been in the waiting room and seen the kids sitting there, twiddling their thumbs, waiting to get adjusted, and then you go out to bring them in, and mom says, oh no, it's not for him. What? Chiropractic is just for the adult? How stupid can you be? You want to raise subluxated kids? You want them to grow up damaged? You see, your mission, your reason for being here today is much, much more than you've been told. Schools lie about it. And we were all raised by chiropractic schools or colleges. And when the school has no philosophy department or no active philosophy, part of your education is missing. Many of you graduated from such schools. You call yourself a chiropractor, but you're really not. You're a knuckle popper. So what do we say to the public about our understanding of chiropractic that make them take the action step? Somebody has to come into the office on a regular basis to have spines checked. Every spine in the family needs to be checked regularly. How regularly? I don't know. Experiment with the family. See how well they hold their adjustment. And you cut down the frequency of visits. I routinely cut down to once a week. Once a week, I see every member of the family check their spine for subluxation. If they come in week after week not subluxated, then you can cut down the visits, cut down the frequency of visits. But if every time they come in they need an adjustment, then make sure they get it that regularly. Now, this involves money, doesn't it? When I first came to Peru, I'm talking about 30 years ago, I trained the Quechua Indians way, way up in the Andes. I trained them to identify subluxation.